So I get letters asking me why past presidents like Bill Clinton and George W. Bush and Barack Obama don't speak out about contemporary problems. And the reason is there is a tradition, and it started with George Washington, the first president, that once you leave office, you don't criticize your person that took over your job. Okay, that is a tradition. Now, it's been violated, but not often. So now, today, we don't have a lot of sniping. Even Donald Trump, Obama a little bit, but not a lot. Clinton, Bush, no. Currently, Joe Biden is immune to all past presidents criticizing him. I haven't seen it one time. But last week, Barack Obama went on the CBS Morning News under the radar, didn't get a lot of publicity, but I picked it up. And that is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. So this was last Tuesday morning. Roll it.
Today, what I'm most concerned about is the fact that because of the splintering of the media, we almost occupy different realities. If something happens, in the past, everybody could say, all right, we may disagree on how to solve it, but at least we all agree that, yeah, that's an issue. Now, people will say, well, that didn't happen, or I don't believe that. And one of, I think, the goals of the Obama Foundation and one of the goals of my post-presidency is how do we return to that common conversation? How can we have a common set of facts? We may disagree on gun violence in terms of what the best prescriptions are, but we can't deny the data that says the United States has levels of gun violence that are 5, 10, 15 times more than other countries. Yep. So if we say that it's just a mental health problem, well, it's not like there aren't people with mental health problems in those other countries. What's the difference?
Here is the difference. Now, I'm going to go over this methodically. If you have a paper and pen, and I always recommend you watch and listen to the No Spin News with those items, you might jot down a few notes. The United States is a relatively new country. Even though we were founded in 1776, most other countries throughout the world are much older than we are. And even in places like Africa, where there was colonialism and the countries are newer, the basis of governance was there before the United States even appeared. All right? Europe, Russia, Japan, China, centuries before us. So, in order to become a country, America had to fight a war, the Revolutionary War, with guns. Okay? And in order to expand the country, Americans, after the Revolutionary War, had to go west with guns. Why? Because there were hostiles in the way. There were Europeans, the French, the Spanish, who wanted parts of North America, who would attack Americans. Native Americans, if you read Killing Crazy Horse, I mean, it was brutal for decades. And there was no law. And there were bears, big bears. So every American that forged west had to have a firearm. Back in Philadelphia, where they were forging the Constitution, the founding fathers feared a military takeover of the United States. So therefore, they put in the Second Amendment, giving the citizens the right to bear arms in case the democracy fell apart and some general came in and said, I'm running the country. And how often have we seen that throughout history? So every American that chose to could arm themselves. Now, that tradition never stopped. In fact, the British invaded us in 1812. And then we had the Mexican-American War, which I'm going to tell you about later because it's this day in history, and the Civil War. And then we had the Indian Wars, as I mentioned. Everybody had a gun. And there was no time in history, not 1 year, where there was a movement to ban guns or to disarm the civilian population. Now, I don't know whether Barack Obama understands that or not. But when you compare the United States to Australia or New Zealand or Sweden or wherever you go, it's a totally different situation. And we have a plurality here of amazing amounts, they call it diversity now, people. Okay, we're not homogenous like Scandinavia or even Australia. Okay? I mean, if you look at the Australian immigrant laws, you can't move to Australia, particularly if you're a minority. I mean, people down there, they want their 25 million and that's it. All right? So, we have a tradition here of firearms. And now the tradition is causing trouble because there are criminals and mentally ill people who are using those firearms to kill innocent people at a level that's unacceptable. It is unacceptable. But banning guns isn't going to stop that. And Barack Obama should know it. There are 300 million guns, more, in the marketplace right now. So even if you stopped every gun sale tomorrow, you got 300 million guns. And what do you think is going to happen? The black market is going to take over and sell the guns to the criminals who don't buy guns legally now. The mentally ill sometimes can because the laws in the individual states aren't tight enough. But banning guns, even ARs, and I do think there should be restrictions on the higher level firearms, training restrictions mostly in the states, not going to stop it. Barack Obama should know that. He should understand that. He's smart enough to know it. Okay? So he's either being disingenuous or he needs to watch this program every night. The chairman of the Fed is promising more pain ahead. Last year, stocks dropped a whopping 20%. 2023 could be worse. You are right to be worried. So call the only precious metal dealer I trust, American Hartford Gold. They will show you how to protect your savings and retirement accounts by diversifying your portfolio with physical gold and silver. Since I've been a client and spokesperson, the price of gold has appreciated more than 35%. So please call today and they'll have physical gold and silver delivered right to your door or put inside your IRA or 401k. They have thousands of satisfied customers and have the highest rating in the country with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. Please tell them Bill O'Reilly sent you, and they will give you up to $5,000 of free silver on your first order. Please call 866-501-5201. That's 866-501-5201 or text BILL to 65532. Again, that's 866-501-5201 or text BILL to 65532. Thank you for watching the No Spin News. To watch the full episode anytime on BillO'Reilly.com, please sign up to become a premium or concierge member. Visit BillO'Reilly.com to sign up and start watching today.